So Fight or Flight was pretty decent. I went and saw that this last weekend and just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. So Fight or Flight is the most recent John Wick inspired movie. They advertise that it's produced by the people who did John Wick, and I could believe it with the amount of action this movie has and just kind of how the action is well choreographed and just kind of molded into like a John Wick fashion where the camera follows the main character just whooping ass the entire time. I could see this being produced by the John Wick people, though I don't think it's like the top tier of like action movies like that. It's definitely fun. I would say it's definitely fun, and it's not for everybody. I just wanted to give a brief rundown on what the story is of the movie, just so you guys have some context going into this. Fight or Flight is a movie about a exiled FBI agent, I want to say. I think he's an FBI agent, or he's like an operative of some sort, but he's a badass pretty much. He's one of those guys that just like never goes down. He's always beating the shit out of people, and that's Josh Hartnett in this movie. And he is pulled out of exile pretty much to help stop a terrorist that the United States is looking for called the Ghost. And the Ghost is getting on a plane in Bangkok where our main character actually is exiled at right now. So, and exiled is such a weird word for it because he's not exiled, but he's definitely excommunicado, if you know what I mean. So he's kind of in the dark about shit, and they don't really tell him a lot. They just tell him, hey, we need you to get on a plane. We need you to find the Ghost. We don't know what they look like. They're on the plane though. That's pretty much the context of the whole movie. They interrupt a guy that pretty much hates his life and is always drinking and is constantly just like in a state of like, leave me alone. And they ask this guy to pretty much get on a big plane, a big freight plane, to fly back to the United States and find this hidden operative or whoever this ghost person is, to pretty much protect them on the plane, get them to the United States without having any type of injuries involved, pretty much at the cost of his own life at this point. Like, that's pretty much what the movie's about. You know, do this for us and we'll give you your family back type movie. And it's not really great in that sense. Like, the movie's story isn't really like anything to like jump on, you know what I mean? This isn't like John Wick style where there's a whole universe of like characters and everything, the Continental and shit like that. It's not really that kind of movie. This movie's a straight up just like similar to Bullet Train. If you've seen Bullet Train, it's very similar. Instead, it's on a plane and not a train. That's pretty much the whole landscape of the movie. All hell breaks loose once he gets on the plane. As it turns out, majority of the plane is filled with other hitmen that are after this same person he's looking for. That's pretty much the full synopsis of the story. I'm not going to spoil much about that. There's not really a lot to spoil. You can kind of already assume how this movie goes. Main character's a badass, finds this ghost, and then, you know, it all goes down from there pretty much. But some things that I really liked about this movie, where when the action started, it didn't really stop. Like, it kept going. Like, there was every scene, there would be him beating the shit out of somebody, getting his ass beat. And then the next scene would be him just kind of like drinking and letting loose for a second, just like to relax. And then immediately he's got somebody throwing knives at him, you know, and it's all going down on a plane. So it's kind of like, it's fun. It's definitely fun to like see the environment and the setting that they're on or that they're in, but it doesn't do anything like special in any way. Like, it's so over the top at times too, and I like that kind of shit. So like, the over the topness of the movie was kind of just whatever to me. It was more fun than anything. But there are going to be people that are like, this is fucking stupid, like it doesn't make any goddamn sense. For example, they're fighting on the plane, and there's a point in the movie where it's just all out war on the plane, where like everybody's fighting everybody pretty much, and a guy pulls a gun out like an idiot on the plane and shoots one of the windows of the plane out. That window explodes from just the pressure in general and rips a hole into the plane while it's like 20,000 feet up in the air, and people start flying out of the plane and shit like that. And it's an intense moment, but it just doesn't really make sense, because right after they stabilize the plane, that hole in the breach in the fucking wall of the plane just doesn't matter anymore. And little things like that are going to be reasons I think people walk out of this movie going, God, that was dumb. But I enjoy the goofy, stupid shit like that. So like, for me, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good time. I thought majority of the movie was honestly a good time. I would say the worst parts about the movie are the parts that don't have action, which is like the first 20 minutes of the movie, which you would think a movie that's kind of like under the radar and not really talked about, such as this movie, you would think they would do everything they can to like pull you in from the jump. And I'll say like the first, it's an hour and 40 minutes, but like the first like 20, 25, maybe even 30 minutes is a lot of setup. And it's fun because like you're getting to know this character and like his handler, who is like a She's Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian. You'd recognize her if you saw her. She's pretty much his handler. She's the one that's like operating the whole thing and telling him where to go. He's keeping in contact with her the whole time. She's got her own agenda. And that was another thing I didn't like about the movie is they focused a lot for no reason on the agency that he works for. And it was just kind of like, I don't really care. In the end, the movie tries to set up a sequel, and I'm sure it'll try to be a series going forward. I don't really understand why they tried so hard to set something up. Nowadays, everything needs to be a sequel, it seems like, or have a sequel or a franchise connected to it. I think that's what they're going to try and do with this. And I'll watch the next movie, but I don't really know why they're even doing it. So that's going to be something like, just bear in mind when you're watching it, like some of the stupid moments where they're like focusing too much on things that don't matter. It's because they're trying to set up a sequel. And I didn't realize that until the very end of the movie when it like ends on a cliffhanger. I was just like, I didn't need the cliffhanger. I didn't really need it. And there's no after credit scene or anything. So it's not really worth staying for in the end either. So like, I would say like majority of the movie, like setting up was really boring. Like, for example, there's a lot of like missed opportunities in the beginning of the movie. When they first introduce you to Josh Hartnett's character, he's like drunk and passed out and some kid's trying to steal some money from him or something, or a cigarette from him or something. And he's funny. Like Josh Hartnett is funny in this movie. And he is the main reason you're going to watch this movie, because he is good in this movie. Like he's fun. And he took like a little hiatus from Hollywood for a while. And then he came back, he was in Trapped, and he was on The Bear for a minute and like things like that. But this is definitely a movie where he is out of his shell a little bit more. He used to be kind of like a heartthrob in a way, and he might still be, but he's definitely more choreographed in this movie. The action scenes are intense. Like he's whooping ass in this movie, and you can tell he put a lot of effort into it. Normally you can tell the actor is good at the choreography when the camera focuses on them the whole fight instead of cutting around like crazy. This movie focused on the action a lot when it started up, and I have to give it credit for that. Like the best part of the movie was what they were advertising, and it was the action, and the blood and gore was insane. We find him just kind of passed out in like a little buggy or something like that. Kid tries to steal something from him. He's nice to the kid, but he's kind of like a dickhead at the same time. Like he's kind of a douche to the kid, but he still gives the kid some money and he's nice to him. So you're setting up a character that's a good guy who's been like kind of like gone down a bad road pretty much. And that's fun and it's great. But when they finally like, they're hyping him up the whole time and he's in a bar and suddenly like a gang of guys come in that he owes money to or something like that. It doesn't really explain. And it kind of just cuts away from him fighting them to go to the agency lady and break down a new story with her. And it was just like, it cuts back to Josh Hartnett and he's like walking out of the bar bloody as hell, like limping, and he's trying to hurry up and get out of the bar. And then later on in the movie, they don't show the fight scene, him fighting the people in the bar. And this is in the first like 15 minutes of the movie when they're introducing this badass character. And we inevitably know, like I said, he is a badass, but like they should have shown that fight scene to get us a little hyped, because an action movie needs like the first like 15 minutes to hook you really good on the action. Like it needs to like really grab me and make me go, I can't wait to see the next fight scene. And inevitably that happens where like a fight scene starts on the plane and you're like, holy shit, this is going to be nuts. But it should have happened like 15 minutes before that to get me really hooked in. And I think the average moviegoer is going to just be kind of bored in the first half hour of the movie. And I think that's a flaw with this one. And then it doesn't help matters that later on in the movie, it shows like, to give you more context of how badass this guy is, it shows like a news report of like the guys in the bar being carried out in like body bags. So he killed the guys in the bar, but they didn't want to show that for some reason. And I originally thought like, oh, maybe they don't want to show too much violence. This movie is super fucking violent. Like there's so much gore in this movie. You wouldn't expect it, but like he is like breaking arms. He's Batmaning people, but he's actually killing them at points. Like and there's some very creative deaths in this movie too. Like John Wick had very creative like moments, but like this movie had a lot of like creative, like just like him like fighting a guy in the middle of an aisle on the plane. And he like gets the guy on his hands and knees, like in the middle of the plane's aisle, and he just chokes him with like one of the seat belts and snaps his neck. And it's like, that's really creative. That's really cool. There's another like fight scene where he just gets ambushed by this guy that's like in the spot. I don't know. It's not the cockpit, but the spot where like the flight attendants hang out, and like that's where they get all the juices and all the drinks and stuff like that. He's fighting a chick in there, and he takes like a wine glass and he smashes it into her eye, and her eye has just like a straight wine glass sticking out of it, and she's screaming and freaking out, and he punches the wine glass and it goes deeper into her skull, and it's like, it's very creative and super fucking gory. Like there's a chainsaw that gets involved. I'm not gonna tell you how it all gets involved, but like from the beginning of the movie it shows it. A chainsaw is involved on the plane. People are just getting ripped into pieces. It's a gore fest, definitely. Like there's a lot of fucking gore, and it's fun. It is fun for somebody that likes these types of movies. Like if you like the whole John Wick killing people with a pencil thing, you're gonna enjoy this as well. I just think that there's aspects of the movie that are really slowed down and kind of just poorly put together to start the movie and to end the movie. Everything in between was fine. Like it was honestly fine. Like I think that the whole like fighting on a plane is kind of just like meh, especially if you like watch Bullet Train. Bullet Train's a better movie with better actors in it too. Like no discredit to Josh Hartnett, but he's the only person in this movie. Like there's really nobody important in this movie that you're gonna be like, I remember this person. Like the chick from Mandalorian's in it, you're not gonna really care because she's in it here and there and her story sucks. And then the person he's after is an actor that you might know, but they're not like super well known. And that's another problem as well. He's looking for this ghost person. He finds that ghost person. He's informed that the whole plane is filled with hitmen pretty much, and like majority of the plane has hitmen on it. So that's a fun idea. But then he finds this ghost person immediately, and that ghost person is just immediately on board with him, like taking them in and like reporting them to the US. And it's just like, this is like a known terrorist that's trying to get away from this kind of stuff, or trying to get away from like the authorities. Why would this person go with him? You know what I mean? Granted, he's protecting that person from all the other hitmen, and he does, but like, it just, I don't know. It just felt like it was rushed. Like it was just put together. Just, oh, yep, they're cool with each other. Like now they're going to fight all the hitmen together. And I just thought that was a little bit lackluster. I just thought it was a little boring, to be honest. I liked the movie. Like I enjoyed the movie. I enjoy these like kind of popcorn flicks, but this isn't a movie that I would like recommend going to see in theaters. I don't think it's going to do well in theaters, to be completely real with you guys. If I'm paying to see this movie, I'm giving it like a 6 out of 10. And I know that sounds bad, but like it's worth watching if you like these like high octane action movies. If you're a fan of like John Wick and Nobody, this movie will appeal to you. It just doesn't have that good of a story, and it's not an idea that's anything new. Like Bullet Train had Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson. You know, there were good actors that made you want to keep watching. There was a lot more personality, I would say, in Bullet Train. This movie didn't really have personality. It was just like an action movie with a good main character. That was really all it is. And good gore, obviously. Good blood, good gore, good action, very good choreography, very, very good. I just didn't love everything about the movie. And I wouldn't say like, I would watch this movie on a streaming site. Like if you're watching this on a streaming site and it's like free, you're looking at like a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10 movie. But if you're paying to see this, I would say like a 6, honestly. So, I mean, there's not like a lot that was like bad about the movie necessarily, but there wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, I gotta watch this again. You know, I would YouTube the action scenes pretty much in the future. That's what this movie provided, in my opinion. And really quick, the director, which might be another reason this movie wasn't super great. James Madigan, who was a part, this is his first movie he's actually directing on his own. Other than that, he's known for like visual effects on like Iron Man 2. He, was an assistant director on Transformers Rise of the Beast, The Meg. Not great movies, but for a directing debut, this is all right. It was okay. It wasn't like the worst movie I've ever seen or anything, but it definitely wasn't like a, oh my God, go see this movie type movie. Little lackluster, not a lot of personality to it, but it was fun. It had moments that were really fun. Sets up a stupid sequel for some reason. I didn't understand it, but I'm just going to go with like a 6.5. I wouldn't like necessarily recommend this to everybody. It's a chill movie. It's fun. It's high octane at times and kept me interested. Definitely. There were some creative ass moments, creative kills, but there was just a lot of like lackluster buildup and finishing to the movie. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.